What's going on, everybody? Barrett here, back again with Spec Tech. Welcome to the channel. Today I got a review for you of the Google Pixel Slate tablet, but before we get into that, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe and hit the little bell icon so you can be notified when my next video drops. And remember, if you like what I'm bringing to you here, make sure you smash that like button. So as you guys can see, I'm still not in my normal shooting environment. I'm still out of town for work, so I have to shoot in my little room here. But I'm going to run some footage of what the environment looks like surrounding my site. I'm not allowed to post any video without a permit, and I'm pretty sure they're not going to give me a permit so I can put it up on YouTube. But anyway, here's some footage of the surrounding area. Let's go. Alright, so in today's review, we're going to be reviewing the Google Pixel Slate tablet and keyboard, as you can see right here. So when looking at purchasing this tablet, there are all several different versions of the processor that you can get, as well as RAM. So the version that I have is the i5 version with 8 gigabytes of RAM and 128 gigabytes of storage. And in all honesty, that's probably the minimum that I would say you could get. I mean, you can step up to the i7 version if you really need that extra power. You could do that. The i7 version has 16 gigabytes of RAM and a 256 gigabyte of storage. But I wouldn't be looking necessarily at the lower end processors for this tablet. I don't know if you watched some of the earlier reviews, especially one review in particular where the reviewer had the Celeron version of this tablet. Needless to say, his review was not very favorable for the Google Pixel Slate. So like I said, I would recommend getting the higher version of the processor if you're able to do so. So we're going to be discussing the build quality, the screen, the internals, the specs, the speakers, the keyboard itself, and then the software. So we're going to start off by talking about the build quality of this device. So it's an all aluminum body. Let me just get it out of the keyboard here. And as you can see, it's got some fairly strong magnets to separate it from the keyboard. But as you can see, it's a very nice aluminum body. It's got rounded edges, so it's very comfortable to hold in the hand. And I kind of like the fact that they went with like a dark blue, just something a little different other than black and white. And something a little unique here is the white power button fingerprint reader. So I do like the build quality. It's a very nice build quality. It's very sturdy. It feels like it's pretty solid. I mean, I still wouldn't want to drop it without a case or anything, but it does feel quite sturdy and very, very stiff and rigid. It's a decent weight as well for being such a large screen. Like, it's not incredibly heavy. This tablet is a 1.6 pound tablet, so I mean, yeah, it may be a little bit heavier than some of the smaller screen, thinner tablets, but it's still not exactly heavy to the point where it's going to strain your hand for holding it for any length of time. The build quality is definitely very solid. They did a good job on it. I can't really find any flaws that I would like to bring up regarding the build quality itself. It's very solid. So with the screen on the Google Pixel Slate, you're going to get a very good experience. I mean, I don't imagine anybody having any complaints about this screen. The resolution is crisp. The colors are great. The viewing angles are great. Like I said, I don't personally have any complaints about the screen itself. The blacks, I mean, aren't quite as inky as what you would get with a Super AMOLED or an AMOLED screen, but it does have decent black levels. It's definitely one of the strong points of this device. I was looking for something that was larger than your average 10.1 or 10.5 inch Android tablet screen size, which is pretty much the largest size you can find those in these days. Back a few years ago, they did used to make something a little bit larger, but in today's market, it's definitely harder to find. So that is one of the things that I liked about the screen, being a 12.3 inch. But for some, it may be a little bit too large. But if you're looking for something that you want to, say, replace your Chromebook or a smaller laptop, I wouldn't recommend going to a 10-inch tablet because you're going to find that probably a little bit too small. So this is kind of a good in-between. So if you are going from, say, a 13.3-inch Chromebook or laptop, this is only about an inch smaller, so you won't notice that size difference as much. So to me, the 12.3-inch screen is a good size increment in between the 10.5 inch and then say stepping up to a 13.3 or 15.6 inch laptop. So it is something that I was looking for, And chances are, if you're watching this video, you're looking for a larger screen tablet as well. The glass covering the screen of this tablet is a Corning Gorilla Glass 5. So it is going to be a lot more dense than your average glass. It's going to be a little more scratch resistant than just your normal tempered glass. And it does have pen support as well. So as you may know, if you're looking at this tablet, that it does have the Google Pixel Pen, so you are able to draw and take notes. So with having the i5 version with 8 gigabytes of RAM and 128 gigabytes of storage, in all honesty, there's a lot of Ultrabooks nowadays that come out with 128 gigabytes of storage. So the storage is fairly significant, I guess, for a tablet. I wouldn't say that it's extremely large, but it's definitely going to get the job done. And then the 8 gigabytes of RAM and the i5 processor. In all honesty, I've had a very smooth experience with this tablet. I haven't had much lag or hiccups as far as the processor goes. And like I said, in the earlier editions of this tablet, things weren't really ironed out, so there was some unfavorable reviews of the tablet, but they've since ironed out a lot of those bugs, and it is very smooth and fluid. All right, so let's discuss the battery of this tablet. Google claims to get about 10 hours worth of battery life out of this tablet, which they say is a 48 watt-hour battery, which I believe works out to somewhere around 9,600 milliamp hours. And I found this to be true. I mean, I've had pretty good battery life out of this tablet. I'd say I'm getting about 10 hours of use depending on what I'm doing with it. Obviously, if you're doing more intensive things, it's going to drain your battery faster. But if you're just surfing the web, watching videos and that sort of thing, you're going to get multi-day use out of it. Unless, of course, you're using it from the beginning of your day till the end of your day. Chances are you're going to have to charge it by the end of the day. But for somebody like me, where I use it maybe for a YouTube video here, watching a Netflix show there, I usually get multi-days out of it, 3-4 days before I have to charge it. So definitely no complaints on the battery department. It's, again, not the absolute top tier, but it's definitely far from the bottom as well. I'd say it's up there with the better tablets and better battery life for sure. All right, so one thing that I kind of have a love-hate relationship with on this tablet is the I/O. The tablet does come with 2 USB-C ports, which is the part that I love. USB-C is basically the route that everybody's going these days, so that is super convenient. And then it does have a pogo connector on the bottom for the keyboard. Now, the part that I hate, or the part that I don't like, is on this large tablet, even though there's plenty of room, they still opted not to put a headphone jack. Come on, Google. They can't be that expensive. You charge enough for the tablet. Put a headphone jack in your tablet. Please and thank you. All right, my rant is over. But that covers the I/O. All right, so to cover the cameras on the tablet, I mean, most people aren't buying tablets for the cameras on them, but it is nice to have just in case you find yourself in a situation where there's this picture you have to have and all you have with you is your tablet. This is going to give you okay pictures. So the front-facing camera is an 8 megapixel 1.9 aperture camera, which will give you 1080p video at 30 frames per second. And the rear camera is an 8 megapixel 1.8 aperture, which will also do 1080p 30 frames per second. All right, so now we've come to one of the strong suits of this tablet, which is the dual front-firing stereo speakers. These speakers are, I wouldn't necessarily say they're the best on any tablet out there right now, because the quad speakers on the iPad Pros and on the Samsung Tab S6 are pretty phenomenal. But these speakers are definitely up there with some of the best on a tablet. They're full, they're rich, they do have a little bit of bass. You can actually feel the tablet itself vibrating a little bit with the bass. And, I mean, of course, you're not going to have room-shaking bass from a tablet speaker, but I am impressed with how small these speakers have to be to fit in a tablet and the amount of sound that does come out of them. They do get fairly loud as well. I don't know how good this is going to relay over the microphones on my recording here, but here's just a sample of the front-firing speakers on the Google Pixel Slate. What's going on, everybody? Barrett here again with Spec of Tech. Welcome to my channel. As you can see, I'm not in my normal environment here. I'm actually out of town for work right now, but that doesn't mean that the videos can stop. Today I have an awesome video for you. Okay, now chances are that didn't come through very well, and you're not going to be able to hear it, because depending on what you're listening to this video on, it doesn't mean that you're going to get that full frequency range that these speakers are putting out. But if my word means anything to you, they are full, they are rich. They're definitely one of the better speakers on a tablet. All right, so one of the major things of any tablet, of any computer device, is the operating system. So in this tablet, it is Chrome OS, so it is not Windows, it isn't Android necessarily, and it obviously isn't iOS. It is Google's proprietary operating system, which is called Chrome OS. It does run Android apps. So there is the Google Play Store. You can use almost all of the Android apps. I believe there is some that aren't compatible with this tablet, but that is what it's running. And from what I've found, I mean, you can be quite productive with it. I mean, anything you can do within the Google browser, so Google Docs, if you're looking to get some productivity done with some Excel sheets or with some Word. So you are able to get some of that stuff done. And then, of course, anything within the Android store, you can download and use it. The only problem is it isn't always optimized for this form factor. So here's an example here. So this is the Facebook app. So when you're looking at it in landscape mode like this, you do basically just get it down the middle of the screen, and then the sides are just blank. They're not really being used. And as you can see, when I flip it to portrait mode, I get this weird little strip down the middle. So like I said, obviously you can just go to the Chrome browser and go to your Facebook from there. You don't have to use the app, but just keep that in mind that not all the Android apps are going to look right when you're using them on this tablet. Now, as far as the Chrome OS, again, I haven't experienced much of lag or slowdown like some of the earlier versions of this tablet that were reviewed did. It's been fluid, it's been smooth. I haven't had issues other than what I showed you with the apps there, but that's not really an issue with the software itself. It's just that the app isn't optimized for that form factor. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend the Chrome OS for a power user, if you're going to be editing videos or you're going to be playing intensive games. All right, so chances are if you're going to be buying the Google Pixel Slate, you're going to be looking at getting the Google Pixel keyboard and likely the Google Pixel pen as well. But the keyboard is good quality. It's got some soft materials, and it does have a lot of adjustability. So if you can see here, it's all magnetized, so you can slide it all the way down, and then it clicks in here. So that's your lowest position, and then when you slide it up, and the magnets are quite strong, that's your last position there, so leaving the tablet at about this angle. The keys are rounded, which is a little bit of a different choice, I guess, but there's not much of a learning curve that I found switching over to this keyboard from, say, my laptop keyboard. I was able to just pick it up and start typing at pretty much my full speed right away. The build quality on the keyboard is good. I mean, it's not the best keyboard that I would say that's out there, but it is good quality. I like the soft touch materials. It just feels a little bit better in your hand when you're holding that type of material or typing on that type of material. The problem I did have, which isn't a huge deal, it's a bit of a nitpick, I guess, but it doesn't. If you can see it, it slides very easily. It's not very. The magnet that holds the keyboard to the front of the tablet is not very strong. So when you're holding it, it ends up always kind of flopping like this, which, like I said, is more of a nitpick than anything. It would be nice to have a stronger magnet to hold that against the tablet. But all in all, I'd say that the keyboard is a good addition. Maybe not necessarily at full price, which right now it's $260 Canadian, which I believe is priced too high for just a keyboard accessory for a tablet like this, but that's just my opinion. All right, so in conclusion, this tablet is a good tablet. Don't let the earlier reviews scare you away from this tablet. Although Google has said that they are going to be discontinuing it, it doesn't make it a bad tablet. So who should buy this, or who might want to buy this, is if you're looking for a tablet that has a larger screen than, say, a 10.1 or 10.5, you want something around the 12-inch range that's running Android or can run Android, this is a good option for you. Yes, it's Chrome OS, but it does also have the Google Play Store, and you can run most Android apps. Another person that might be looking to buy this is if you're looking to maybe get a little bit more portability, and say you have a Chromebook right now, but you find it to be a little bit bulky. Well, here's another option for you. You can get the tablet with the keyboard accessory, and if you want just to be playing with the tablet, the touchscreen, you can remove it from the keyboard, and when you want to get work done, put that keyboard on, and you basically have a Chromebook. I fall into one of those categories. I was looking for something with a larger screen that still would run Android apps, and this fit the bill for me. So if you are one of those two people, that's who I would recommend this tablet for. But maybe you just want to give it a try. Maybe you're just a bit of a techie like I am, and you just want to try something new to see if you're going to like it. Maybe you've never tried Chrome OS before, but you're not really interested in a Chromebook. Well, here's an option for you. And with the fact that Google is discontinuing these tablets, you should be able to find these on the used market or eBay, or even going on sale in the very near future here. You should find them for a good price. So there you have it, guys. That is the Google Pixel Slate tablet with keyboard accessory. Make sure to drop your comments down below and tell me what you think of this tablet. Or maybe if you're thinking of buying it and you have some questions, feel free to drop them down below and I'll do my best to answer them for you guys. And as always, if you are new here, make sure you subscribe, hit the little bell icon so that I can notify you when my next video drops, and smash that like button if you like what you're seeing. Stay techie.